DW Africa Link.
IShowSpeed. One streamer, one continent, and the internet collectively losing its mind. When IShowSpeed touched down in Africa, it wasn't just a tour. Nope. It was a live-streamed cultural moment with millions watching. From jollof rice debates to street pandemonium, from chill vibes to genuine culture shocks, Speed transformed everyday African life into viral front-page content. Millions tuned in, memes exploded, and for once, Africa wasn't being explained. It was being experienced raw and unfiltered. So what happens when one of the world's biggest creators puts Africa in the spotlight? And who really controls that narrative? That's what's coming up. I am Eddie Micah Jr., and this is Africa Link, the podcast connecting you to the stories that matter.
Africa Link, every weekday here on DW.
From Ghana to Nigeria to Kenya and beyond, the star of the show was IShowSpeed, a US-based YouTuber and live streamer commanding tens of millions of Gen Z fans around the world. His 20-country Africa tour turned everyday moments into global cultural signals. So how was Africa seen, shared, and streamed through Speed's lens? To unpack this, I'm joined by Amayal Deborah, Ghana's leading entertainment and lifestyle blogger and social media influencer. I also have DW's Olisa Chukuma reporting from Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome, both of you, to Africa Link. So what was the impact? Well, absolutely massive. If you don't believe me, just listen to the vibe from Africans who were right there in the mix. Amiel, first off, look, it's been a minute. We used to be in touch. What happened?
Well, you got famous and you forgot about me.
I wish that was true, but I'll tell you who is famous. IShowSpeed definitely. To be honest, I knew he was a big deal, but didn't know how much of a big deal he was until he started touring the African continent, visiting about 20 different countries. How was it overall for you, watching him do his thing across the continent?
I think personally, there was a lot of learning like yourself. I have always thought that he belongs to the Gen Zs, and I've had this image in my mind that he's a loud person, I can't stand, and all of that. But the moment he started touring Africa and the buzz it was generating and how people were responding to it, and in fact, it wasn't all about noise, but there were touch points that touched different highlights of the various countries he visited. And so I was like, hey, maybe there's some substance to this guy after all. So there's a lot of personal awareness for me of his brand. And I was also impressed generally by what he was able to do within the 28 days or so on the continent.
Wow, yeah. I mean, to be honest, I don't know how he even managed to do that. I mean, visiting 20 different countries, eating different delicacies, doing so many wild things on the ground. Maybe that's why it pays to be young, right? But he was in Ghana. We're not being biased at all, you and I, when we say Ghana was arguably his best trip, are we? What was the highlights for you?
Well, I mean, the highlights were many. For me personally, again, I like that my region, Eastern region, was showcased, and it was showcased beautifully in a way that I have not even seen it in a long time. So I was happy seeing that. And I was also a little bit disappointed because his time in Ghana was sort of cut short, and so he couldn't really travel far and wide to highlight a lot of the other destinations he could have, and so that was a bit of a letdown, but he had explained why it happened, and I think it's pardonable. But altogether, good experience. People loved it. The comments have been largely amazing on social media, and let's see what the coming days would have for us in terms of the impact of the visit.
Right. I mean, it's still quite fresh. So as you say, the days coming, we'll see what came out more and more from that trip. Olisa, he was also in Nigeria. How did it go down?
Well, Eddie, it was, I don't know what term can I use. Was it chaotically beautiful or beautifully chaotic? I don't know. It's in Lagos. The good thing about it is that at least I was there we basically followed our DW crew here, basically followed him because this is his first time in Nigeria. We basically chased him all around Lagos. He went to places like the Naked Art Gallery, Freedom Park, the famous Balogun Market. And with each place stop he was going, more and more crowds kept on coming because he was streaming live, right? So just the same way we were following him, IShowSpeed, we are press, maybe not official press, but we were, catching glimpses of the moment. More people around Lagos from far and wide of the city were tracking with landmarks. Okay, he's at Ojuelegba. No, he's at Victoria Island. People were tracking to catch up with him. People were coming out with their cars and bicycles. Even somebody used their horse to chase down IShowSpeed somewhere down in Lekki. He went to Upbeat. It was, for me, it was just the young people, the young energy, the way people loved him, the way, these are young people, they see him as a hero. They called him so many things that, you can see the crowd that came out for him. Who else will do that? And he's not a celebrity. He's not a singer. He's a streamer. It just shows that this young generation, they see streaming and, this gaming life, this new thing, being on the internet and streaming as the new way, a pathway, to success. IShowSpeed turned 21 in Nigeria. He celebrated his birthday in Nigeria while turning 21 and also clocking 15 million, 50 million streams of what that landmark he made with his birthday. There were lots of confetti that popped out when he had it in Lekki. So I would just call it beautiful chaos. As unorganized as it was, well, people were telling us this is what you expect when IShowSpeed is in Nigeria as part of his Africa tour.
Right. Why do I get the feeling that many more Nigerians were watching his stream when he was in Ghana than even when he was in Nigeria? Why, Olisa?
Well, for those people who enjoy streams like this, I'm sure maybe it's the competition to say, okay, after coming to Nigeria and eating jollof rice, will he go to Ghana and go and taste the jollof rice? And we know what happened when he went to Ghana to go and taste jollof rice. We know
what happened.
Well, I don't want to say it. IShowSpeed declared the winner. We both know. Everybody knows.
I don't know what kind of stream Olisa was watching. Amayao, please, can you tell him something?
Well, he didn't declare a winner. He, at the end of the day, said it was a tie. He thinks it's a tie between the two countries in terms of the jollof, yes.
And if you ask me, it's probably because he didn't want to disappoint the Nigerians. But okay, rivalry aside. Look, help us really understand why it's even important that we are talking about the impact of IShowSpeed on the African continent, particularly these countries that he visited. Why should we even care about that?
Well,
I think the potential for tourism is there. And so every country would want to look at it and project themselves in a good light so that the ripple effect will be there. And when you look at Ghana, we've already seen one of the shops he visited saying that they've been fully booked from now till March, somewhere in March. And so it shows you it can drive some sort of attraction, whether for tourism, for business, or whatever, to the places that he went to. So it was a big deal. And people are also looking at the bigger narrative, especially in the global sense, and more particularly in America. People feel that with his following, when he's able to come to Africa and he's able to highlight what the true Africa is, it will sort of fight against a lot of the stereotypes that these Americans have grown up to know. And so already we've seen some videos of people coming out to say if it wasn't for this trip, they wouldn't have known ABC. I mean, when it comes to content creation and social media, people will do anything for clout. And so you can't really tell if realistically they mean it or they want to bite into the trend, and so they are saying all of that. But regardless, when you have a global streamer of his caliber moving from country to country, showing activities, places within these countries, it's going to shift a lot of the narrative that people perhaps didn't know or misunderstood about the continent.
Right. Is that the way to go now? If countries want to promote themselves, tourism and all of that, just get a very famous streamer or social media influencer and that's it?
Well, it's been working for a lot of countries who are doing that, and it doesn't have to be the biggest, but people that you think speak to certain demographic that you need. We've seen a lot of people doing that. I think we've even seen countries sponsoring teams in the Premier League and all of that because of the kind of star power these people wield and whatever awareness that they can create around your brand. So it gradually is becoming that. Over the years, I've worked with countries like South Africa who understand that, and they've been pushing it. They've been getting their worth out of it. So I think it's gradually becoming the way to go. Ghana bought into it and has been doing a bit of that since the year of return started, and all the bars now around December. We've been also bringing in some other A-listers, whether streamers or influencers or stars, and the results have been seen over the years. So I think gradually it is becoming a proven way to go. So you have to do it carefully. And I think one of the conversations that has come out from Speed's visit is people feel he appeals more to teenagers who may, at the end of the day, not spend money on some of the things that we are hoping it will come to, like them traveling to come and experience Ghana and all of that. So that's a bigger conversation, but we cannot ignore the fact that a lot of awareness about the countries he visited would be created.
Right. Thanks, Amial, for that. Olisa, coming to you, there are those that are saying, okay, like Amial's points, those are very strong, good, valid points. But how does the ordinary Nigerian benefit from such a visit from someone as popular as IShowSpeed?
Well, that's quite a broad one, because for the ordinary Nigerian, the IShowSpeed could be like it could be like a temporary escape. So that's also beneficial from the realities on ground, especially in a city like Lagos. People are hustling and bustling. People want to know that, they want to have their daily bread, and also still trying to get daily, good governance. That's what Nigerians are looking for. So for someone like IShowSpeed coming to Nigeria, visiting the continent, yes, it's a good cultural reshaping in terms of the narrative that has been pushed out of Africa. You get to see the real Africa. But for them, it's just an escape. It's because Africa is not running anywhere. Lagos is not running anywhere. Nigeria is not running anywhere. The things is going to be here. The culture, the food, the music, the Afrobeats, the jollof rice is not running anywhere. So whether it's IShowSpeed or somebody else that comes, it's a temporary escape. It puts Nigeria in a map, but Nigerians know that in terms of Africa, especially for places like Lagos, Nigerians will be counted. If you talk about cities in Africa, Lagos is counted because of the culture, the vibe, the Nollywood, the chaos that you get when you come in. So it's a temporary escape, and I think that's the benefit. They can use that for social media hashtags and clouds, and it also, somehow shapes, the media influence or the media context for a country like Nigeria.
Right. What do you think changed in terms of media context for Nigeria?
Well, seeing it from a journalistic point of view, especially because when we heard about IShowSpeed is in Nigeria, part of his global Africa tour, he's been in Morocco, he's been here, we have to be there. The way we rushed out of the office and I thought it wasn't Ronaldo, he's not Beyonce. For me, I'm not Gen Z, right? I'm not really a streamer, but it was shocking that the more places we visited along with this guy, the more people came out. I'm like, this guy is not Jay-Z, this guy is not Michael Jackson. But somehow this guy is pulling, it's like, who is he? He's a streamer. Is he a footballer? No. how come he's pulling these numbers? And it then tells you how, this new media thing, this social media and online media and streaming thing has completely changed the game media-wise. Before, you needed to be, a serious celebrity who is doing music or something, or pop culture, an actor, to pull that kind of crowd of international renown. But this is some guy who is a streamer, as young as 21. We realized, we even heard he had to drop out of school to continue this, And look at the people he's inspiring. People tell us, oh, IShowSpeed did not go to school. Look at what he's doing. He's an inspiration to me as a young 19-year-old. I'm like, wow, this is interesting. So it's like a different pathway for these young people. And there is something else there. It's not as if they don't want to go to school, but they see this kind of guy as an icon of streaming. And streaming is the now and the future. But for those of us, even people like us in the mainstream media, doing radio, doing TV, we can't remember somebody from the mainstream who can pull this kind of, effect and crowd, both physically and also online. So it's a lesson for us in the media, especially legacy media. Are we becoming obsolete? Is this new media the way to go? Those kind of questions should give us something to think about.
Right. I'll tell you someone who can pull the crowd also when he gets to Nigeria. That's Ameya Deborah. Ameya Deborah is a solid guy who can make sure that Pella and all the other famous people in Nigeria will come out and dine with him. But look, Ameya, Olisa was making a very interesting point. I also found it a bit funny that it was a temporal escape for people in Nigeria because reality on the ground will kick in right after his exit. But still, long term, if he created some sort of positive image of a country that people didn't know much about, long term, that could be good, right? We're talking about increasing tourism, businesses that may be booming because he went over there. The long-term effects could be greater, right, Ameya?
Yes, I think there's a lot of potential in that direction for the countries, for the content creators that pulled up to show up when he came around. Some people got spotlighted, and with that sort of global buzz around everything, I'm sure that most of the content creators are going to get a bit of new audiences out of the content they created also. So there's going to be that kind of ripple effect across board. But like you're saying, we are hoping that long-term wise, there are some real impact that we can trace and say that this happened because this person was in Ghana. Already Ghana has given him or promised to give him a passport. So maybe he'll be coming back quite often, and now it becomes more of a, it's not a touch and go thing, but he comes, and each time he comes, he drives some sort of new, revived energy and awareness, and so it helps make it sustainable in a longer period.
Right. Wow, Ghana's going to give him a passport. That is super cool. And he's also talked about how he's got some family in Ghana, I think from his mother's side. Also, he was given a traditional name in Ghana, Berima Kofi Ekofo. How significant is that gesture culturally, Ameya?
Well, I think it becomes significant only if he is ready to use it and own it as much as possible. If it's just a name they give to him as part of the ceremony and nothing becomes of it, then it was more ceremonial. So I'm looking to see how he owns it, how he tells that story beyond the stream that he did. And then that's when culturally it's having an impact and it's becoming significant. But if it's a touch and go ceremonial naming and he doesn't even go and mention it anywhere else that it's called Kufu, then really what's the point? So I'm looking forward to see that. But in the bigger sense of things, it brings that sense of belonging, that he came to Ghana, he touched ground, he met some traditional leaders and was given a Ghanaian name, so to speak. So it adds to it. But the bigger importance comes as to how he owns that name and what he does with it.
Right, true that. Olisa, what would be his Nigerian name? Chinedu or Obibina, or what are we talking about here?
Well, somehow Nigerians did not give him a name. We didn't have a naming ceremony like Ghana. I think that was a good one from Ghana to really give him such a good name. We can give him some typical Lagos name like Ola or Tolu. That will go. I think a typical Yoruba Lagos name will fit him because he's so energetic. He's so energetic.
He definitely is energetic. What do you think he has told the world about Nigeria that you believe wasn't really out there?
Well, not much. Not much I can say, because Nigeria is one country that, especially in the last couple of years, this Afrobeat thing, this Dirty December thing has really caught the eye of a lot of diasporans and people abroad and people of African descent in Caribbeans and the USA and the West. I don't think there is much. For Nigerians, it was a case of, let us see whether IShowSpeed will not come to Lagos. People were waiting, like confidently knowing that, oh, he's in Namibia, he's in South Africa, he's here. Oh, no problem. Once he comes to West Africa, surely, he's going to come to Lagos. And for Nigerians, we like to debate a lot. There've been lots of negative criticisms about the visit on its own, how disorganized it was, how people started to beg him for money. These echo chambers conversations were not happening online, because when there are some places he goes to, people asking for money and all that, like how Nigerians continue to disgrace themselves to the global stage. You just have these conversations pop up. But I don't think there's really much he showed. I think he showed Lagos for what it is: traffic, chaos, the railway buses, the movement on the road, the art, the culture, the Afrobeat, the drumming, the people, the vibe, the youth. So he showed that the energy was there, it was well represented. And like I said, it was beautiful chaos, or chaotically beautiful. Yes, we know that right now Africa is the present and the future. Everyone keeps talking about Africa. Bill Gates talks about Africa. Everyone, Africans talk about Africa. So there's a reason why these conversations are happening on the global stage. Both online and on the ground. Because Africa still has a lot to offer the world, and itself especially. So IShowSpeed Visits Africa tour has been positive, showing a different side of the continent. And I think we can take this forward as a people, as Africans, to continue to promote the goodness in Africa. Because let's be fair, the West has written a narrative. A narrative has already been written and forged, and the ink has been dry for a long time. But we have a blank page now, blank book, and lots of pen to write Africa's stories, and in different color, in the colors of Africa, written by Africans for Africans, by Africans. And I think that's the way to go.
Okay, thank you very much. Very great discussion from the both of you. Amiel Deborah, entertainment and lifestyle blogger and social media influencer from Ghana. Olisa Chukuma, DW's correspondent in Lagos, Nigeria. Thanks to the both of you for your contributions.
Africa is changing. Don't get left behind. Tune in to Africa Link.
From Lagos street chaos to Accra's laid-back energy, from jollof rice battles to viral massage moments, I particularly like that one, Speed's tour set timelines ablaze and reignited that classic Nigeria-Ghana rivalry. Although if you ask me, there's no debate which the best jollof is, right? Okay, but I digress. For Speed, this wasn't just content. It deepened his brand, positioning him as a global creator, bold enough to step beyond his comfort zone, connect with new audiences, and grow culturally in real time. The result? Africa gained visibility on its own terms, and Speed gained a kind of relevance no algorithm can manufacture. So what do you think? Share your thoughts with us on Facebook at DW Africa. Catch us on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, and subscribe to our DW Africa YouTube channel so you never miss an episode. This show was co-produced and edited by Isaac Mugabe, and I am Eddie Micah Jr. Thanks for listening.
DW. Made for minds.